Hello everyone, in this lesson I'd like to talk about some smoke effect. So the scenario was the woman smokes a cigarette, and when she exhales the smoke it turns into a crown shape above her head. So main obstacle was to drive the smoke that she exhales um, over her head and then turn it into a crown shape. So let's actually see how I managed to do it. So here's the ready scene, which is already cached and can be used. So I will just run through all the settings that I've applied to the scene, and then you can download it yourself and just run through all the settings by yourself, and just then you can then use it in your work, or as a practice. I think it's useful, all the techniques that been used here. Okay, so here I have two imported objects. The first one is the crown itself that I've been given, and the track face. Okay, let's start with the crown first. So what I did here I'm converting it to a regular geometry, cleaning it up and matching it to the center. Okay, then the first thing I did is preparing all the necessary attributes, in this case velocity attributes that I will use next, just to drive the smoke to shape the form of the crown shape. But before I start, I just want to talk about a little bit more. So here I have 3 layers of smoke that I've used to create the overall effect. The first one is the crown forming effect. The second one is exhale smoke. Okay, and the third one is the additional touches that have been created just to feel overall effect. Okay, so I'll just show this small effect because it's very simple, so I'll just run over it. Okay, so here I have a basic sphere in the center, and I created a simple system, and here I'm having a circle with some normals applied to it. Okay, you see my normals are running along the curve of a circle, and then I'm transforming my normals to velocity with some multiplier applied to it. Then I'm attribute transferring to my smoke object. Okay, and here I'm using a volume rasterization to convert all those attributes to a volume. Okay, and then applying a pyro solver. So here I have some keyframes on density values and temperature as well. I could skip temperature, I think, only density that I would like to use. Um, here I'm using some dissipation values and temperature, cooling rate, just to have the smoke disappear faster. Okay, the default one is 0.1, I think. Then I probably would like to, if I sorry, if I just take a pyro solver. Okay, seems like I'm trying to elongate the effect to keep the smoke or the scene longer than it should be. And shaping, here I'm animating the turbulence. Okay. So here's my effect. I'm not using any collision, just left because I was just copying all those nodes again and again just to make things faster. Okay, so sourcing, that I animated some values on fields, shape, animated turbulence. Okay, and I didn't touch any look values because it's simple smoke, so I will color it later. And here I'm using an output quick setup for caching simulation and initializing smoke. Okay, I'm using a white color on my smoke and converting it to VDBs with 16-bit float just to make things lighter. And I'm using only for export density and velocity channels. Okay, and then I cache everything. So here's my cache, and as you see, it stays longer in the scene. Also here I'm adding some post multiplying effect, which I use just to make it disappear faster, which I use just to control my smoke density. Okay, so it disappears faster. This way it's convenient because I'm using it 3 times, and this way by transforming it and using a different time shift attributes. Now also I can just use different multipliers to control my smoke density animation, and this will give me a variety of smoke effect, okay, of detail effect. So here I have all those effects collected. Okay, so nothing that complicated in here. So let's go and continue with the crown. So The first thing I did with the crown, I deleted the top part of the crown. Okay, if I just enable it, as you see, I kept the top part of the crown. Then I used some the end node just to have only curve. Then I resample just to add some points to make it smooth. Okay. Then I'm deleting excluding the bottom part. Again, I'm converting it to shape, resampling, and here I'm duplicating, merging them together, and here I have the shaped version of my crown shape. Okay. Here I'm scaling, which I should have done before, but I did it later. And here I'm deleting a primitive, which I probably don't need this. I can turn this off. Okay, I'm adding some point jitter, sampling just to make it a little smoother. Smoothing again, so I have some nice curvy shapes. And then I'm applying a polyframe just to add some normals, okay, which then I will convert to a velocity with some multiplication. Okay. Okay, so here I have finished my first setup of the outline of the crown shape with normals applied and converted to velocities. Okay, so the next setup okay, let's discuss this one. So here I have add some just to, so here's my original crown. So I'm deleting an outside, I think, an outside, I'm excluding an outside polygons of my crown shape. Okay, so I'm making a setup for the emitters, and then I'm just pushing it inside, so it could be on the inner side of the crown. Okay, then I'm remeshing it and scattering points onto the surface of this crown shape. Okay, then I'm using sort attribute by Y, and I'm using this noise ramp preset where I'm adding some so if I play the animation, so here I have appearing and disappearing particles, points, and I'm deleting the black points. Okay, here I have an expression which is deleting the black points and keeping the bright ones. Okay, and it just appears and disappears, so I want them to emit in a short period of time. Okay, then I'm adding some mountains. I'm distracting my points, and here I I'm using the outlines that set up with velocities. Okay, and here I'm transferring my velocity attribute to this setup, and then attribute noise, and I'm again distracting my density attribute, and then rasterizing it. So here's my here's the first layer of the crown simulation. Okay, I won't simulate all those Pyro nodes because it takes a lot of time. So I have already cached, but I simply ran through all the settings that you would be you would just to be aware of, in my opinion. Okay, so in the crown setup, in the crown layer smoke setup, there is nothing I've used just to affect them in the node itself. Okay, I there is a simple setup, so maybe a little substeps. Okay, collision. Here I'm using limit collision range. I'm using a static geometry for collision most of the time. Okay, but here I'm not using any collision geometry, but next we'll be using one. So I think it should speed up the simulation process whenever you have some collision geometry. Okay, next, sourcing is nothing special, all by default, and fields, just playing with the values. Okay, so dissipation uh, will kill the volume. The larger the value, the quicker it will dissipate. Cooling rate as well, it will just dissipate faster. Okay, the shape, turbulence, the rest is off. Nothing with the looks, just simple smoke. Okay, and the output, I'm using initialization of smoke with cache setups, which is quite handy, and I'm using density with velocity. The rest is off, and I'm converting it to VDB with the 16-bit float to make things lighter. And here I have the first layer of my setup. So it appears, let's just see what, and disappears. Okay, just activates and stops. If I just turn this off, see, like, and it's this way I'm having an overall shape. Okay, like a secondary effect of the crown shape. Okay, here I'm also adding custom density multipliers. Okay, here you see there's only a multiplier, density multiplier, which I control as well. This way I can control the dissipation of the density faster. Some time shift just to fit later in the scene. It's kind of a post tweaks. Okay, and then some additional just to make it less denser than it was. Okay, so the first one is the setup. This is the first layer of the smoke. Let's see the second one. The second one is here, and the third and the fourth, we'll have a look. So, so here I have the outer layer of my crown. I'm adding some normals, then I'm extruding my geometry, reversing the normals. We just so um, I'm coloring these two polygons um, just to orient things right manually later on. Okay, here I'm adding a little peak, again normals, and extruding once again, and this way I'm trying to add the hole in this empty area inside of the crown, so this way I could hold my smoke inside of the crown later on. Okay, so I'm remeshing it, adding some mountains, which is probably too much, and converting it to VDBs. Okay, and just to see the collisions. So here I'm using a static frame and SDF volume for collision. Okay, here's the same. We have a outer side of the crown peaking, remeshing, sourcing, and sorting. This time I'm sorting along the vector, and I'm just choosing vector which looks good to me. So then I'm using this noise ramp asset, but since it was like an older version, these days I'm mostly using this noise ramp. Okay, which you can download on my Boosty channel, which is more advanced and very convenient to use. Okay, so here I'm adding this noise effect to the crown, and here I am adding points. Yeah, so I'm coloring the points and deleting the darker ones. So here's my crown appearing like this, then adding some distraction to the points. Again, I'm copying all those velocities from the previous setup, and then distracting my density and rasterizing all the necessary values, which is velocity, density, and temperature. Okay, another setup is I'm using those curves that I created, and again sorting along the curve, along the vector, again using a noise ramp. Here we have another animation, and deleting those black points. Okay, adding the mountain node to jitter those points. Okay, as you see, and transferring velocity again and rasterizing. So here's the second layer setup. So if we just have a look how it works. Okay, and here everything should be same. Some resolution, some upraising here happening, Collision sourcing, here's nothing changed. Fields are the same. The shape, only turbulence was changed. And here's the same as it was in the previous PyroSolver setup. Okay, and here's the cached version of our layer. So here what we have, just as you see, all those velocity and collisions are working nicely and shaping our crown form. Okay, you might want to increase some substeps in order to keep all the volume inside of the collision geometry. Okay, and also velocities are useful to also keep volumes in certain area. So this is the major layer, I should say, while this was secondary. This was the base one. Okay, so the second one, and now we'll have a look on the third layer, which is again apply 2 points with some noise. Yeah, I have some animation as well. I'm adding some more noise. Okay, it's like additional effect, deleting all those. I haven't used it actually. I should use. Let me see. Okay, now we have it in restoring points, and here I think we have nothing changed here. Only this density and velocity channels are used in here. Fields, we are keeping our dissipation by lowering the values. Okay, the shape, buoyancy, I can turn this off. Only turbulence is used and some flame expansion. Okay, smoke, and the rest is the same. And here's the what we have in the end. Okay, we have some longer smoke simulations just to decorate the main shape. Okay, so here's the result, and here also I'm using this density multiplication by to control my density values. Okay, as you see, the animation simply clips, but here using additional density multiplication I can control my dissipation, my density manually. Okay, so as you see, all those setups are similar. Okay, so the last one in the crown layer, let's see. So what we have here we have circle with some normals applied, and I'm doing a sweep. I'm trying to match the crown's bottom cylinder shape. Okay, then if I simply So you see I'm trying to match the base of the crown. Then I'm doing the same process, sorting by Y, adding some noise, and I think, oh, it's animated, okay. Deleting those black points, sorting it again by the vector. Then again, animation to the point, to the points, okay, and deleting all those black points. So then attribute noise, distracting our particles, and Procedural setup. So here is the smoke setup, then rasterizing values, okay. Here I should actually I should use a trail to compute my velocities. Okay, here I have velocity channel. I could actually use this velocity as well, or add to this velocity, so I could have a better velocity representation of the smoke. Okay, so here I'm rasterizing all those attributes, and here's the same setup. Okay, again on the turbulence and output, and here's the final cache. Here what we have. All right, and also some post multiplication to the density and animating it once again. Okay, and last, what I did, just merge them together before applying to our character. Okay, so here I'm using the transform node just to this is the post transform, just to place it correctly above the head of the character. Okay, and here I'm copying it to the point which is from our character's tracked face. Okay, so here we have a tracked face of our character, which again converting it to the regular geometry, cleaning it up, normals added, and here I'm deleting a mouse polygon and adding normals, and I'm fusing it into the point, into a point. Okay, which I will use later. And another thing, here I'm selecting some points, some polygons above the head, and I'm deleting the middle of the point. Okay, and so if I just, so I'm excluding this point and this point and later to be able to create a proper normals to add some custom attributes later on. Okay, so here's the one point, here's the another point. Okay, here's I'm merging them both together, and so here I have 2 points. I simply use fuse in case I have more points than I needed. Just cleaning things up. And here I'm using this small expression to add normals. Okay, now you see I have normals onto these 2 points, which is looking along the forehead. Okay, and I'm only keeping only 1 point. Okay, so here I have those points, and here I have the point actually, which has all those attributes that I wanted to create, and I also use this point to control to copy my crown, to copy my crown too. Okay, so and this is the post transform, as I said, just to place it above character's head. If I turn this off, it should snap to this point. Okay, if I look it from the camera, so you see it placed exactly where it should be, it was asked to be. Okay, so this way we now have discussed how the crown, the main crown smoke effect, was set up and created. Okay, so this one as well, the base one. Now we'll discuss the exhale part of the smoke effect. Okay, so so having 2 points, the one is representing the mouse placement, and another is the forehead placement. Then I merge them together. And create a curve which connects all those 2 points. All right, and then I'm transforming the, if I just numerate this, here I'm applying this expression to my first point. Okay, so here I'm translating it. Here I have a copy of my crown. So what I'm doing here, I'm trying to match the point, so the smoke, I could control the smoke by moving by the curve, flowing by the curve, and just connect to the main crown shape. Okay, so here I'm deleting one of the crown points and transforming it, This way I'm asking to place the first point to the point of the crown shape. Then resampling, here I'm adding another point, and I'm adding some transformations. So I want a curve shape that will control my flowing smoke, and smoothing in the end. Okay, so this curve will be used to control the flow of the exhaled smoke. So if I turn off, and here I'm adding a color attribute to the curve, and I'm creating 3 duplicates of this curve. Okay, so I have resampling, a point jitter, and then I'm using an attribute warp to create a blend effect. So I want them to be separated in the middle, but stay in one place at the beginning and in the end. Okay, so here I'm using an import point of the second input, and I'm using the position of the bows, which has a jitter value. Okay, and it has the same resampling. So they have same point count. Okay, and here I'm using color, which I created earlier to control my blending of the position of the point curves. Okay, then resampling again, adding normals. Here's my normals, just running along the curve and converting them to velocity attributes. Okay, all right. Also here I'm carving it for, which we'll discuss later. Okay, so after all this preparation, here we have a sphere copy to our mouse placement. Okay, which is an emitter of exhaled smoke. Then I'm creating a basic density attribute to our future Pyro solver. Okay, here I'm copying my velocity and rasterizing, and here I'm using the same density and velocity. Most of the parameters are the same as they were. Okay, here I'm using buoyancy and wind as additional forces. Okay, and here just let me stop it. Okay, here I'm using a gas curve force to control my smoke flow. Okay, so if I so this preparation that we made before CV2, which is here, is the curve that controls the flow of the exhaled smoke. So if I go inside, as you see, I'm using this curve, and with some values to control the flow. And just to be aware not to use very small values, which can cause very long simulation time. Okay. Yes, I think this what I'd like to explain. So here are smoke, as you see. If I just, you see it has its controlling the flow of the shape. All right, and then what I'm doing here, I'm having my curve which has a DM attribute. That's just attribute which I will use to control as a density multiplier. So I'm having this density multiplier, which I'd like to control my exhaled smoke. Okay, so here I'm using point cloud open, and I'm using this attribute and multiplying this to my density. Okay, so here if I just lower this value, as you see, it affects my density. So going back, and just going down here, we are again, I'm using another density multiplier attribute, custom attribute, and here I'm again using the same technique, point cloud open, DM density multiplier, multiplying onto density. Okay, and I'm using this as a source, additional source. And here I have also a cut version of my curves. Here I'm also copying my velocity attributes to my points, which I'll use later. Okay, so here I'm sorting by Y axis, again using noise ramp digital asset just to play with the noise values which I animated. Okay, and here I'm deleting all those black points, and also also disturbing my temperature and density, and here's rasterizing it again, all again. Okay, so as you see here what I have as an emitter. All right, and here's the same density velocity, converting it, some buoyancy and turbulence values. Okay, sourcing was the same. Oh, here I'm also playing with the velocity. Okay, so I'm animating my velocity multiplier parameter, and here I'm also using my gas curve force, okay, with some loose values, and here's the simulation. So just runs, so whenever she exhales the smoke, just goes out and disappears. Okay, and here as well. I'm using also this DM attribute, custom attribute, to multiply my density. Okay, again, I'm applying all those values, all those techniques that I've used before. Okay, so again, I'm animating, but this time it goes till the end of the curve, the effect. Okay, and deleting points, adding distracting temperature and density, and rasterizing. So this is one, the first layer of the exhaled smoke simulation. Okay, again, here I have also affected by my curve force, and the rest should be the same, with some animated turbulence. Okay, and velocity as well. And final, this is what we have. Okay, all right, and here I'm using the okay, here I'm using the constant smoke emission. I'm adding some more time for later use. Okay, here I'm adding some density to it, and if you see, it just keeps on moving, which I'll use here later to add some. Here I have those the same density multiplier attribute, and with the same technique, point cloud open, multiply, and the overall multiplication, and in the end, I'm using a custom multiplication just to keep it shorter. Okay, so it disappears faster than it was before. Okay, so we have it here. There's multiplication. Okay, and here what we have, just additional multiplication, but you can turn this off or just keep it in case you want a denser smoke or less. Okay, I'll keep it as it was, and then again we're merging all the effects together, and this is what we have in the end. Okay, so as you see, the main idea is to make a complex effect when to make it simple, you just split it in several pieces. Okay, And here I'm merging the crown and the exhale. Okay, here I'm adding additional multiplication just to make it not that dense overall. All right, and this is the details which I explained in the beginning, and then here I'm merging some of crown effect with the basic effect, just as a layer, and it was looking okay, so I just kept it. Okay, and multiplication, and the final, combining everything. I'm using the add, and this is the final setup. And if I look through the camera, just well, as you see, the overall it's not that complicated. If you just split it into pieces, you can make whatever you want. It's very important just not to try to do all in one node, but to keep things separated. Okay, and the very important one is to make a proper setup to be able to control all your parameters and all the flow of the simulation. And Houdini, this is the greatest things of Houdini, which gives you that a lot of control, a lot of possibilities to control your simulation, your parameters. Okay, so all the files will be included, so you can just play with them, practice, and use in your future project. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share in this lesson. And I really appreciate your support, and thank you for your attention. I see you in the next lessons. Goodbye and good luck.